In the fall of 2011, a man from Central Ohio created an international story when he contributed to one of the biggest animal release in the history of animal ownership. The issue has raised great debate on whether ordinary citizens should be permitted by law to own and care for exotic and dangerous animals, and more importantly, what restrictions and limitations should be implemented.
Currently, if you have no intentions and you just want to have a pet tiger in your backyard, there are no rules.
New legislation has been submitted to officials that will limit who is able to obtain and own these animals. The bill sets in place new guidelines explained by Chief Operating Officer of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, Tom Stolf, who was a part of the committee that helped write the bill, where these owners would have to be a part of a zoo association or a species survival program through zoos where the main goal of their ownership would be conservation.
There has to be a purpose for the animals to be owned. All of these animals, they're all from around the world. Some are highly endangered, some are not. But in order to just decide that you want to own a gorilla or own a tiger, I think that there should be a purpose, and that purpose should focus on conservation.
Some civilians agree with Stolf and the legislation that zoos should have the sole responsibility and privilege to house these animals.
I would think that zoos are okay, but other than that, I think it's very dangerous. I mean, I know that like cats and dogs are trained, but other than that, other animals aren't really as easily trained.
Other members of the local community disagree with the bill, understanding the responsibilities and accommodations it would require, but would still love to be able to privately own some of these animals themselves.
I think it'd be pretty cool to do. Like, I would like to have a wolf in my house. I would definitely need a lot of space for it to happen. Have a lot of space and keep it enclosed, because I obviously wouldn't want to create it long.
Having no restrictions or limitations on ownership of dangerous and privately owned animals has obvious consequences. However, the controversy comes into play in where the line should be drawn. Cy Vierstra, worker with the Ohio Association of Animal Owners, works at Bethsaida Farms, a privately owned licensed establishment. He believes it may take time, but further restricting ownership and limiting these privately owned organizations will have drastic effects on our community and the population of the endangered animals.
This could start a pretty tragic end to all of that, and I don't think anyone will quite appreciate or respect that until 10, 15, 20 years down the road, when people are wondering what are happening to a lot of these animals and why they can no longer see them, and the ones that are in the wild really aren't seen anymore because there's just not enough of them.
Although it is uncertain if private owners will be able to continue to house these dangerous animals in the future, one thing that is certain is that these animals need to be conserved and protected.